Hello and welcome back to Dad Plays. We're back in the garage. We're here for episode 2. We're going to fix some stuff up. I have had to re-record. We had some recording issues, so my XP and my credits might be slightly different. And I think I sold these last time, so I'm just going to sell these right now. And we've got a case to open, so let's open that straight away. And we should be roughly back where we were before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 2. Handful of credits, some XP. That's nice. XP's useful. Let's collect that. Okay. What do we have for upgrades? We haven't got any upgrades yet. So we've got one skill point. I'm going for fast hands. I think I've explained this before, but I'm going to concentrate. Fast hands and strong arms mean the jobs happen quicker, mean we get more XP, mean we level up. Stuff like regular customers, valuable, save a bit of money, and when we get good judgment, that's valuable, but it's not the biggest deal. Eagle Eye is just about time when you're examining, but I can skip time for you, so that's not a problem. And Renovator becomes really useful later on when we renovate parts, but to do that, we need the garage expansion, which costs 10,000 credits, and then we need the workbench, which costs 1,500. So we need considerably more money than we've got currently. The tools I have the tablet, and that's it so far. We might get some more. These are going to be useful later on. But let's get stuck straight in to our orders. We're going to our next story order. Griffin Tyro. Hi, my name's Joanna. I was referred here by my neighbour. He's a car dealer. I hear that your repair shop has been up and running since quite recently. Interesting translation. But you look like a promising mechanic. It's almost annual service time. My buddy doesn't seem to have any problems, but I'll leave that for you to decide. Please change the oil, filters, and fill the missing fluids. I haven't had time for that recently. John mentioned... Who's John? Is that the car dealer? John mentioned there was a tapping in the camshaft. That doesn't sound good. I don't know what he meant. Perhaps it'll make more sense to you. Please take care of my car. Have a good day. Okay, let's take a look at Buddy. And here's Buddy. A green, not a Mini, a Griffin Tyro. That's interesting. i4 DOHBFM. The i4s we're familiar with. I think we had that last time. Okay, we've got 4 parts not discovered, and lots of things that are discovered in the engine there. Rubber bushings in the engine, brake pads, and in the engine. Cool. I mean, you did say oil, filters, and missing fluids. You haven't asked for the filters. Change the oil, change the brake fluid, the coolant, the power steering fluid, and refill the windscreen wash. And then we'll get some money. So let's move the car straight in to car lift A. Here we are. Right, let's get her up first level. So, in fact, all the way up, and first thing I'm going to do is get the oil drain moved over there. Put that there. Let's drain this oil. What colour? Oh, nice golden colour. Oil looks alright. Not much of it, but fine. Put that back. Let's have a little look, shall we? So I'm going to highlight these things that want doing. So we can figure out what to get on with, and we've got 4 parts not discovered. So let's dig into that. So there, look at the state of that brake disc. That's going to be a part that's not discovered, and so is that one there. And that brake pad looks alright. Okay, these wheels have got to come off then. Right, so that caliper looks fine to me. That brake pad needs replacing. Let's add that to the shopping list and take that off. Take that off. That brake disc looks like it was replacing. Let's add that to the shopping list. Okay, now the rest of this, that looks all right. Have a look around the back. That wheel bearing looks okay. Let's see. So we've got these 2 bushings. Let's take these out, and I'll add them to the list while we're at it. And this one. Okay. I think we said this disc as well, so let's take this one off. Okay, caliper looks alright. Those pads are going to need replacing, and so is that disc. So we'll add both of them to our shopping list. Okay, let's go check our information. We've now identified everything, so it was the 2 discs and the 2 pads, so they were the new things. So let's get to the shop. We press T, we pull up our tablet, and we're going to get 2 brake pads here, and 2 brake disc ventilated, and 2 rubber bushings. That's our thing for the moment. Let's mount these back up, because hopefully, I believe that's all we're going to do. I like to work in stages. I think sometimes this bites me in the face. Yeah, bites me in the rear end, because I end up putting everything back on and then realise I've missed something low down. So I think if you're going, that's a loud ugga dugga. If you're going for efficiency, proper efficiency, you strip everything off, repair everything, and then put everything back on rather than this. But I like to have sections done so I can mark bits off in my head as being complete. This wheel on. And then these 2 rubber bushings, we'll get them put in with the replacement ones. And then let's go to information, and we're going to untick the stuff that we've done. Oh, we didn't tick those, we didn't highlight those anyway, so that's fine. But these 2 rubber bushings. Now, apart from the stuff in the engine, everything on the front is currently done. We've got some stuff at the back, so let's go have a look at the back. Unmount mode, so let's get this bushing off. We'll add that to the list. We'll get this wheel off, because we've got the brake pads to do. Brake, oh, not caliper. I added that to the list. We'll take that off. Don't want to buy a new brake caliper that we don't need. Brake pads, we'll add that to the list and remove that. Let's have a look at our list. I'll take that caliper off so I don't buy one by accident. And that's this side done, stripped. So let's do the same for this side. That bushing, look at that, that's terrible. Needs replacing, add that to the list. Get this wheel off. Get this caliper off. And the brake pad, we'll add that. I like to see that, so we can see we've got the brake disc here which spins around. Those brake pads are what hits the brake disc to cause you to slow down, and the caliper is the bit that does the squeezing. So that's all good. So let's go shopping again. So we want 2 rubber bushings and 2 brake pads. And then we go into mount mode. We'll put the new brake pads on. Put the old caliper back on. Get that wheel back on this side. And let's get this rubber bushing in. Off to the other side. Let's get that rubber bushing fit in. Excellent. And spin around. Let's have a look. This brake pad. The old caliper back on. We've reassembled the brake system for that wheel. Get the wheel back on. And that is the back end done. So let's look at status, and we will take off the highlight for the bits that have now been done. And a little look around. The back is done. Excellent. It's all about the engine now. So while I'm here, let's have a quick look. The oil filter, we can do that from below. So let's take the old one off, buy a new one, and add that back on. Now everything else we can lower down and do in the engine once the engine's on the ground. We can't do all of this from underneath. And it's only the oil that drains out the bottom. Everything, all the other fluids that need doing can be done from the engine bay. So we can now safely put the car back on the ground, open up the hood, and let's have a look at this engine. So I'm going to do the engine first, and then we're going to do the fluids. Okay. I'm going to turn off the oil filter highlighting because we've done that. So let's have a look. So we can see some of the bits highlighted here are inside the engine. So we're going to have to strip off parts to get to there. So we can see here we've got a belt underneath this timing cover. We need to get the timing cover off. But to get the timing cover off, we need to get this camshaft pulley off. You can see that timing cover is highlighted in yellow, which means we can't take it off because something's blocking it. And the bit in red is the bit that's blocking it, which is this one. But that's being blocked by this belt. And this belt is being blocked by this roller. So this is just the way you have to go through figuring this out. We take the roller off so we can take this belt off. Okay, now we can take the crankshaft pulley, the alternator, and the power steering pump off. We don't need to take those off, so we'll leave them be, but we do need the crankshaft pulley off. That now frees up access to the timing cover, so we can take that off. This is just to get to the bits that need replacing. This is why the inners of engines can be so expensive. Right, look, we can already see a whole bunch of stuff that needs replacing. This belt tensioner is crusty and needs replacing. I mean, ignore the fact it's highlighted, just look at the colour of it. This idle roller needs replacing. This belt needs replacing, and this cam gear needs replacing. So they're all added to the shopping list. So to get all of this off, we start with the tensioner. Get that off. We can remove this belt. We'll remove this roller, not because we need it to get to anything, but because we're going to replace it. And then we can take this cam gear off. So, to get to this camshaft, which is now highlighted in yellow because we can't take that off, we do need to replace that. I'm going to add that to the list right now. To get to there, we need other stuff taken off. We need this cover taken off. To get this cover taken off, we need these coils taken off. That coil needs replacing. I'll add that to the list. Let's take that off. We'll add these, take these ones off. And now we can take this cover off. Lots of bolts here just for this cover. I suppose it wants to be securely down because you don't want oil escaping when it's flung around inside there. Okay, we also have this spark plug needs replacing. That one's fine. You see in the bottom left, that says that spark plug's 26%, so that needs removing. This spark plug has got a question mark. We don't know what it is, but we do know the game hasn't told us that this one wants removing. It'll be the same for this one here. This camshaft now needs removing, but it needs these caps removing. Let's do that. There we go. That enhanced unscrewing speed already becoming valuable. So can we take this out yet? No, we're still blocked. Well, we've unblocked everything this end, so it must be the other end. So if we have a look around here, we've got this timing cover we can take off. Look, we can see we've got this timing chain that keeps these two camshafts turning in time. So we get this cam gear off. And now we can get this camshaft off. So let's take that off. Okay, I believe that's everything removed that we need to remove. So now we're going shopping. So the oil filter we've already done. The belt tensioner, we'll get one of them. The roller, one of them. That belt, one of them. Cam gear, one of them. Oh, that's expensive. Camshaft, 250. That's not cheap. We'll get that off. And we will need an ignition coil. That'll be in the electronics shop. An ignition coil, one of them, and is it 1 or 2 spark plugs? I think it was 2. They're only 6 credits each. They're cheap. Let's start adding the new stuff back in. So we've our working camshaft, 100%, 21 up to 100%. Thank you. Yes, please. We can put this cam gear back on. And this timing cover. So now we've sorted this end. If you're doing this in real life, I think you'd put these camshaft caps on first, so the camshaft's held down nice and tight before you did anything else. But this isn't real life. Okay. So we get these caps back on. Now, lots of this stuff has to be done, put on, taken off in the right order. One thing that doesn't matter is I can put the engine cover back on and then put the spark plugs in, or I can put the spark plugs in and then put the cover on. That doesn't matter because they fit freely. However, I can't put the ignition coils on until that cover's back on. Let's put that cover on. This is a i4 engine. I don't know what that stands for. I'm going to say I is inline. It's 4 because there's 4 pistons and you know what have you. Actually, I'm not going to put that one there. I'm going to put the 100% one on the one that needed replacing, just to keep it happy. And then these ones can keep the what they had. I mean, they're all good condition. 79 is a bit iffy, but that's fine. Now we work to this side, so we're going to put this cam gear on. We're going to put our new cam gear on. We have to get this roller on. And then we're in a position to put the belt on. You can see the crankshaft is what powers, that turns it. That turns this belt, which turns the cam gear, which turns the 2 camshafts we had on there, turns that camshaft, and then timing the other turns the other camshaft, so that keeps it all in time. Put this tensioner back on. It also turns the, what's that? That's going to be the water pump for the pumping the coolant around. Say water pump is coolant, not water these days. We get this timing cover on, so nothing can mess with the timing. Timing is absolutely critical to an engine. Keep that nice and clean. Crankshaft pulley on, so the same thing that's turning that via this belt here turns our power steering pump and our alternator. Power steering pump is all about power steering fluid, and the alternator is all about charging the engine. So I think that's this engine done. So let's go through. Yeah, and it's happy, and we can see this has turned grey, which means everything's done on there. So that's really good. Now it's just the fluids. So the oil, we've already drained the oil, and we've got to pull new fluid, coolant, power steering to be drained and refilled, and then refill the wash. So that's nice and straightforward. Let's do that now. We'll get our... Oh, there we go. I was in the wrong mode. We'll go to unmount. We're going to get our drain tool. We want to take the old coolant out before we refill. We're going to take the old power steering fluid out. And the old brake fluid out. But we don't need to take the old windscreen wash fluid out. So we'll get rid of the drain mode, and then we're going to start filling this up again. Let's start at the back with the brake fluid. Brake fluid dot 3 and 4. So standard brake fluid. In it goes, and when it tips down like that, it means we've got enough in. In fact, we can see, let's go to here. We can see we're about halfway between minimum and maximum, so that's good. Let's fill it up with some oil. You see the bottle's all the way up, and as soon as the bottle tips down slightly, that's just the game telling us you've got enough. We can carry on. We can overfill, and if you keep going too much, it doesn't You see it's starting to spill now. So in fact, if we have a look at the dipstick, there's the dipstick. It's full up to maximum. Max on the left there, bottom left, all the way full. So that's fine. Coolant, again, we'll fill that up. Generic coolant. And if you don't drain these fluids before working on something, you get a little fine because it makes a mess and you have to clean it up. You spend money on cleaning supplies. So if you try to take the power steering reservoir off while it's full, or the power steering pump, you'll get power steering fluid everywhere if you haven't emptied it. And then you'll have to pay, I don't know, 50 credits, whatever. It's the same if you take the coolant reservoir or the radiator off before draining the coolant. You get the same fine, you get the same problem, making a mess. And if you take the oil pan off without draining it, I presume you get the same for the windscreen wash and the brake fluid, but I've not actually tried either. And now the windscreen wash, every time you clean your windows, it drains that. So we don't have to drain, we just fill that up. And that should be, I think, everything done. And if we have a look, we are going to get paid a total of 2,200 credits. And that is going to take us up. We've leveled up with our XP and we've got some nice credits. But that's not as far as we go. Remember, we can sell a bunch of this stuff. So I'm going to, let's sort this by condition going up. So we'll have the lowest condition stuff here. So brake pads, you cannot repair them. So we're just going to sell them. Rubber bushings, you cannot repair them. Now the brake discs, if you get the appropriate upgrade, you can repair them. But anything you can repair is only if it's 15% or higher. So at 14%, this cannot be repaired. So we'll sell that. Cam gear, I don't believe you can repair them whatever. So we'll get rid of that. Brake pads, 18%, that's not going to be much use to us. I can't remember if you can repair these, but they're low value items. I might keep hold of that camshaft for the moment. 21%, we might be able to repair that in the future. Although when it comes to that repair, we're not actually going to care about the money for that. Okay, I'm going to sell the camshaft. I was going to keep it because that can be repaired later on, but the few pennies it's going to make later on, I'm not going to care about it, I don't think. So, brake pads, they can go. The belts can't be repaired. Spark plugs can't be repaired. This can be repaired, but again, they're not that expensive. I'm just going to get rid of them. That oil filter, I'm going to keep that around. Maybe that will come in use, maybe not. 65%. There's always a chance that someone's going to come in with an i4 who's going to have a request of less than 65% who will accept that. Small chance, but a chance. Probably being silly, but let's try it. Case. Let's open the case. Okay, 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My random number generator in my head says 3 and 2. Oh, bonus XP. We love it. Come on. And another case. Excellent. Get another go. Let's open this case up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go with 5. Barn location map. And 1. Another case. Oh, we're on a roll here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. XP. Love it. Look, we're almost leveling up just from this. And 4. Barn location map. Okay, let's get them. Now, these barn locations, let's add this to our map. And what that is, later on, barns, when you're level 10, you can go to a barn. And it's a location where you can find parts and cars and buy them. And it's quite good. That happens at the junkyard as well. The junkyard is cheaper but more damaged. The barn is more expensive but in better condition, generally. Another one you have is car auctions. We'll get to that later on, where you can bid against fictitious people for cars in various states of repair. And we've got the car salon, which is, I believe, let's tell you what, let's go to the car salon. Let's go. Let's have a look. And we've got almost £6,000, so we're nowhere near enough to buy a car. So the car salon here, this is it's basically it's a car dealer, and they've only got 3 cars, but let's look at this. This is an Olsen GTR with a V8, and it is in immaculate, perfect condition, and it is an absolute fortune. And you could buy this, but there's nothing to repair. I mean, you could swap the engine out. You could take that engine out and put a bigger engine in, I guess, and make some money. You could buy this, you could drive it, you can have some fun, but there's no chance to make money here. And I've got 5,961. I don't have 162,000 credits. Let's go. Oh, look at this. We can overview. Oh, I can't inspect it, but it is everything's 100%. A Lacroix Fret Voyage. That's got an i4. Oh, look, an i4. We're familiar with the i4. Everything's 100%, and that is 64,000. So this is how much it's potentially worth when it's done up beautifully. Oh, look at that. That's a good-looking car. Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. Standard with a V8. 361. So this is all out of my price range, but that's an interesting configure. Oh, you can choose. You can choose what car you want to see here. Look at that Ford F350. Sure, they don't have like F100. Or maybe they do. Land Rover. Another Land Rover. Guineas on the. They got some nice cars here. And of course a Rhino Piloco. It's interesting, you can see how with the opening with the standard ones that weren't DLC, they've got made up brands that are often jokes on real brands, and then the DLCs obviously they've got license from Aston Martin and Ford and whatever. They got permission to use the actual real ones there. Oh, Griffin Tyro, we just worked on one of them. We worked on a green one. It wasn't quite that green. 89,000 for a brand new one. Oh, you can spray it. You can change the wheels. True wheels. Yeah, all sorts you can look at. Anyway, we are in no position to buy any of this. So we did level up. So before we finish and go on to the next story. Oh, I did all that talking last time, and I didn't actually buy any of these skill points. Any of these skills. So I've got 2 skill points. I'm going to get the first level of fast hands and the first level of strong arms. That means we're going to be a little bit quicker on our next job. So that's quite good. All right, we're going to leave it there, and then we're going to come back and do the next job in the next episode.